Hey, welcome to the OFC, all two of you. I'm Joey, pushing the buttons is Coop, and AI has popped up in movies. And apparently, you sent me a link to it was an article. I think it was Metal Injection. I want to say, and it was the guy who plays in Accept, right? Which
Yeah,
I didn't even know they were still a thing. Um, and he's talking about AI. So go and read that article. I think AI is terrible idea because you know how AI works, don't you?
I don't know how it works, but I mean, everything I've heard about it and seen about it, it just seems so generic and
Right.
it takes
What it
away the soul of art,
Yeah,
pretty
what it does
much.
is it AI it scour the internet. Like say you want to write a song like Metallica, it's going to scour all of Metallica and then give you a song. I mean, in essence, that's what it is. Of course, they have changed throughout, their career, music and lyric wise. But that's what it does, and I don't want that. And like I had told you, I text you back a long text. Genres pop up because people listen to different things, all the way to the new metal, to thrash. It's different. People listen to different things, and then they mold it in together. You got like funk
Right.
metal, and you have then that's what happens. Now AI would be like it would take how you like for thrash genre. So I would say you had about eight big bands that really started off. The big four, and then you have Testament and Exodus and Overkill and Flotsam and Jetsam and those guys, right? Okay, now AI would be all of them that came after. Some of them are good, some of them are great, but that's what AI does. So it'll just keep it kills a genre, right? So
Right. It can sound good, but it's very generic.
yeah, it's the same thing. That's what AI it would be to me. AI would be, new metal. You would have what was it, Corn and Limp Bizkit, and there was a couple more, and then then now you have a whole genre, and that's what AI is. AI is that. AI is they like it, so now you become lazy. You can write this great, I guess he didn't. I'm not really sure what his attitude was, but is it really good lyrics or is it just taking what you've done and creating a song from everything you've done? Or you can say, let's just say you are, well, Death Angel, you're Death Angel. Well, I want to have a song that kind of sounds like Metallica, Master of Puppets, with lyrics from Megadeth's, I don't know, Countdown to Extinction, and you're going to get that song.
Right.
That's what to me AI is. And there again, there's going to be no new genres. Like right now, I think music is stagnant because of all the technology we have. It's just not. To me, it's stagnant. I mean, there needs to be a new movement for sure, and we don't have one. We don't have it. We haven't had one. I have, of course,
Yeah. I
maybe.
don't know if I want a new movement because, well, you know how the new movements are. They all divide people more.
Yeah,
And
well,
like old school people like us usually don't like the new movements.
right. I try to listen, and it's not. I'm an old guy, so I don't like this. It's no, and listen, I don't even. I think thrash to me is it's because it was very rebellious. It was heavy. You took different. It's everything from like Black Sabbath, punk. The speed. Like Judas Priest. And that's kind of what thrash metal is to me. Those different genres, and then that's what thrash was, and it went in different directions. But then you started to have the cookie. Everybody. So I love thrash. Well, I'm going to do this band, and then they got this band, and nobody. You have a lot of those bands. They did sound different, but they didn't. You know, um,
Yeah.
everything. It's just like the cock rock. What we call it. You had your Motley Crues and your Poisons and all that. But then you along came all, then there was a bunch of other ones that, and sometimes they even get lumped into it and didn't want to get lumped into it, but that's what happens. Look at grunge and alternative. Stone
Right.
Temple Pilots came out. That to me was just rock and roll. I didn't think, but they got people, oh, that's Stone Temple posers because they never claimed to be grunge or alternative. I never thought they were, you know.
No,
You
I
know,
think they was their own band.
yeah. Did you ever get into Queensryche?
I I bought their greatest hits. I mean, that was never like really my thing, but what I heard on there I liked.
Yeah,
And they could definitely have got lumped in with the cock rock.
yeah, and they kind of
If you
did.
know like Jet City Woman and stuff.
See, I like that song. I like their stuff. I lost interest. I even like the one that came out. He had a song that was called "I Am I." I love that song. I remember it came out. They were playing it on. I was in Aaron's car. Him and I were driving to a guitar store, and they played that song. I thought it was good. It was way different, but it was like instead of having all these intricate parts, it was just really just a straight rock song, in their style. But
Yeah.
anyway, I mean that became a genre too, the Queensryche type thing. But as you said, then they got lumped into cock rock, and you don't want that. I wouldn't want that. But
No, I
that's.
wouldn't have either. But it is what
But
it is.
yeah, back to what I was saying. That is AI. AI will, people aren't. In other words, people aren't going to create anymore. I think AI. I think AI is dangerous because AI scours the internet for stuff. That's why I also think the Second Amendment is important. Everything needs to be on the barring certain things. You can't silence whether you like that person or not because as time goes on, they're really trying to push this AI thing. They really are. And if AI is doing, scouring the internet because it can do it just wicked fast, right? And if they're
Right.
scouring the internet and they're only getting certain facts, that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows? I mean, Terminator. It's kind of funny to joke. Hey, you watch Terminator? That's what could happen. Well, who knows? Maybe it could happen. No, we don't know what's going on with artificial intelligence. I
Machines.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Look, you do
I'm
know.
alive. I see people aren't very smart.
Well, you do know that.
Machines are. They don't
Yeah,
have distractions. They don't have emotions.
exactly. They're just very, methodical. You do know that movie, that Late Night with the Devil, that had some AI writing in it.
I didn't know that, but
Yes, you can Google it. Google it. Yeah, it was a big uproar. I don't care. I still want to see the movie, but you know, once you start having AI, I don't care. You got Chat GBT, and everybody thinks it's funny and making people say things that they didn't say. I heard one. Joe Rogan sounded just like him,
uh,
but it's not Joe Rogan. But see, that stuff is very dangerous to post videos, write music using Chat GPT, AI, whatever. It's very dangerous, and like I told you, genres are going to music is just going to die unless you say mix, you know, thrash music with heavy music. Mix thrash with new metal. And
yeah.
the AI will be able to do it. Well, then there you go. That's kind of lame. Why didn't somebody just come up with that? And
Yeah. We don't want that. I
no,
want people making new music, even if I don't like it.
yeah,
Somebody will.
yeah,
We
exactly.
I want everybody to be happy, even if
I
it
think
does even if it doesn't make me happy.
yeah,
We don't
it's
need computers
it's
writing our stuff.
it's just lazy. It's lazy, lazy, lazy. I mean, there's okay, there was just a writer strike in Hollywood. It's just a writer strike, and people are, the theory, one of the theories is, getting rid of all writers and just have AI write your stuff. Think about that. AI writing movies and TV shows.
Well,
And
if AI takes over movies and TV shows, then the robots have already won.
I mean, just I don't know, as fast and as much storage that, they built data centers, they're building them everywhere. I mean, have you ever seen that 80s movie? It's called War Games, and it had to do with this computer that played war games. And it got, long story short, some kid hacked it, not doing it on purpose by any means, but he hacked it and just about started World War III.
Right.
And people hack all the time. People hack NASA, people have hacked the CIA, people hack credit card company. It happens all the time. When you have AI out there, I mean, computers are great. I love getting on the internet, searching for stuff. It's kind of hard right now, but everything I got going on. But when you have an AI, an intelligence that can scour the internet in seconds, and the whole theory of becoming self-aware, we can laugh about that. It sounds really funny, doesn't it? Self-aware, you sound like James Cameron. Well, what if that really does happen?
I don't think it is funny because he saw it coming in the 80s.
I mean, think about it. They're making robots now that move, and that you've seen them kind of pop up in restaurants. They take whatever, zipping around with their trays. Think about what happens as they've made a bunch of movies about this type of thing. I think it's dangerous, and then it's coming up in music, and it's already been used. Who knows if it could have already been used in music? I know it's been definitely used in a movie. One movie that I can say, yes, this was in a movie. And that was Late Night with the Devil. It's been used. I don't know.
Probably hundreds of others.
Yeah. I'm not saying the whole movie. I'm not saying what. It could have been just a small fraction. It could have been maybe some lines. Maybe it filled up some plot holes. Who knows what it did? It was used. And it's when people start not kind of being leery of technology, it just gets out of control. It always happens, and it always will happen. The whole Facebook, and think about it. People they don't think twice about putting all pictures and all their information on Facebook.
No. And back in the day when it first started, I didn't either. But then I was listening to my dad more and more. He's like, I don't want people knowing my business.
I got on there once, shut it down because it was just weird. Then I did it again, because I was under the impression it would probably be more helpful with I'm dealing with my son's school and all that stuff. And then I set up an account, and then it starts asking all these questions. It's like it felt very intrusive, and I go, you know what? And it was hard to shut it down. It was hard to not get, what I'm saying? So I'm on it, and then I want to cancel it, and it was hard. I looked up how to do it. I did it, and they still was like, you can, we're going to leave it active for 30 days. So it was like, even though you wanted to shut it down, then they were going to leave it active for 30 days. And then you could shut it. And then if you don't log back in, then it's done.
Right.
I never logged back in. So.
I think I deleted my Facebook like 9-10 years ago, like shortly after I got married. And I remember that, having a hard time getting rid of it.
Yeah. My son doesn't have it. He don't want it. He gets on he likes to watch his little videos, and, waiting for me to pick him up. He gets on there, he'll watch some of his videos, and he can't even download games. It has to come through me first. So, I see what games he's, because he'll get on there and play his games and stuff. But, he doesn't have Facebook. He doesn't have, he doesn't play just crazy games on. He doesn't have any social media whatsoever,
Right.
So, yeah, and it was just, it's just interesting that, now it's popped up to where somebody a guitar player. I think he's a guitar player in Accept. No, yeah, is it Accept? Is that whatever? He's talking about it, and I found it very interesting that it's popped up in music, and I think he said didn't he say he like used it? Not they didn't use it in their songs, or they did.
Yeah,
It's not on.
They didn't record it, but he tried it out.
Right.
And I think he liked some of it that it came up with, actually.
Right. So, yeah, so he, and I just found it interesting that now, all of a sudden, it's everywhere. And I mean, when you have a guy talking about it, I just was like, because you sent me that link, and I went, are you serious? So I did. I looked at it, and I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I just don't like that. Either make bad music or make good music, but don't let AI make your music.
Yeah, there's no creativity. It's like accidents happen and it creates something. I was just watching a documentary about Black Sabbath, and the interesting thing I found was, well, it was talking about they came out with their record Sabotage, and then I watched it and it was cool, and then they did something, then there was one that was about something else. It was a different documentary, and they're talking about Paranoid, like one of their biggest hits, and it was like a throwaway song. The record label wanted a song. They literally came up with that in like 20 minutes. I want to say it was just, okay, let's just say a short amount of time, came up with the riff, came up with the song, put it on the record, and it's the one that really put them on the map. Really put them on the map. Was
Right.
Paranoid.
Even though the first album was super awesome.
Yeah,
that's always my go-to.
The first one? I like it too. I like the second one.
Oh man, I think it's the greatest, I'm not going to say music ever written, but I can definitely relate to it. It's just so dark and gloomy. That album is great.
I like them all. I like the first one, the second one, the third one. I like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I like Volume 4. I like Master of Reality, which to me is like the heaviest record, like the heaviest, thickest record. I like them all because towards the end, but there's songs I've liked. There's a song called The Hard Road. I love that song. I'm not sure what record. I'm not sure which album that came out on, because their last couple ones, I think one was Never Say Die, and then you got Never Say Die and Technical Ecstasy. Those two records are just, I don't know. I don't own them. It's not that I've just never found them.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I own them on vinyl.
All of them?
Yeah, the Ozzy years. I have them all.
Yeah, there's always an argument, but the best years are the Ozzy years.
And, I've, for a long time, never paid attention, but I'm getting to where I like the Ronnie James Dio years. And now they're getting ready to put out a box set for the Tony Martin years.
Yeah. I try to. I think what I like most about the Ozzy years, especially the first 5, 6, whatever, the sound of Black Sabbath, the sound of it, the heaviness of it, and then the 80s, you can kind of see that they didn't sound like 80s, but you can hear the technology in their music. It starts to become. There's something about that raw, heavy guitar, bass, drums, that mix. I never got. I don't know. There's a song they did. I don't know which singer it's called. No, it was Tony Martin. I think it was Zero the Hero. That was a good song. I like it, but it's the Ozzy years for me.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, yeah.
Like after the Ozzy years, probably my favorite album was the Dehumanizer.
I've never listened to it.
There's some really heavy stuff on that album. And that's a Ronnie James album, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and by the way, when it comes to Ozzy solo, my favorite Ozzy is No More Tears. That's the one, to me, is his best record from beginning to end. And I also like the one Osmosis, but I was never a huge Ozzy fan either. I wasn't. So I can't. I didn't. I mean, when I heard No More Tears, I love that record, and I
That's
also
a
love.
great album. I think
Yeah, it is.
anybody could put that in and listen to it.
Yeah, except for Ridley.
He hates it.
He does not like it. It's not heavy and fast enough. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just not. Guess what? So right now, the dude and I we're listening to Judas Priest Demolition. He likes it. I said, yeah, it's heavy. The vocals are amazing on it. Devil Digger, you know. And then I think the next one I'm going to throw on there for him after a couple weeks of this one is going to be Jugulator, because that when that came out, yeah, that to me that record really, you know, that just breathed new life into that band.
Yeah.
But
And you're not much into the Halford era,
no,
which is surprising because you're a little old.
yeah, well, because
I
it doesn't.
love the Halford era, but
It
I
just
love the Ripper era too.
yeah, I
I see
tried.
the great in both.
I tried to get into the Halford era, but I just can't. But I like Fight. Fight is one of the heaviest projects I've ever heard. They put out 2 records. They put out War of Words and Small Deadly Space, and I like both of them. War of Words is freaking amazing. It's heavy. It is just heavy. I like the mix of it. I like the thickness
Yeah.
of the guitars. I like the vocals. I like the whole thing. That's why it's like, to me, I just feel like Judas Priest is heavier with Ripper, and Fight is just freaking heavy. I wish he would do something with those guys again. You know,
I actually saw an article pop up the other day.
it's probably the one I saw. One of the guitar players, I think. No, it was.
And it got me hoping that Fight would do something new again. But pretty much all it said was like Halford said, yeah, I would do that again. But
Yeah.
there's nothing in the works.
No, does he have time? I mean, come on,
Probably
Priest put
not. They're
out.
touring a lot.
Yeah, they
Judas
put out.
is.
And it's. I think you should still keep going if they can. You know, um, I'll tell you this much as I didn't care for the new Priest, I think it's better than the new Metallica.
I know you didn't like it. I thought the new Priest was really good. There was only like maybe 2 songs that I'm going to skip over, but for the most part, I thought it was a really good album. And you got to consider how old them dudes are, too. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah.
I
Um,
mean, my dad's younger than them, and I couldn't imagine them ever being that heavy.
it's, I mean, I don't know. And, like I said, I think the new Priest is better than the new Metallica, but there again, I don't like either one of them. I tried to. You know, I feel like. No, I'm not even going to go down the Dave Mustaine, James Hetfield project talk,
Yeah,
but I
we've
think
already
that,
done that.
but I think it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Just like, oh, guess what? Lizzie Hale, she's going to be singing for more shows than. Who gives a crap? I don't give a damn about Lizzie Hale or Skid Row.
Yeah.
Now they're just being
I'll be
ridiculous.
honest, there's probably like 3,000 people in the world that care about that.
It's
Skid
like
Row's been dead since Sebastian Bach was gone.
exactly, and I don't care. I mean, if and now and I guess Lizzie Hale just sang a song with I don't know somebody from Disturbed. Who cares? I never got into Disturbed either. As soon as I heard the wah, I turned it. I listened to about a couple more. I listened to the song. I'm like, nope, and I haven't been into them since. I don't care.
No, them
But
guys are trash.
yeah, so
Sorry, anybody that likes them, but they're trash.
I just what cares? Um, but no, so then so now she's going to sing with. So really, what they're doing to Sebastian Bach is just being now they're just being punks. If they won't even take the time to sit down and be honest with him, here's our problem with you. Just be honest. Why don't you just at least do that? But they avoid it because they don't have a pair amongst the group of them. So now they're going to go with Lizzie Hale. Really, really.
Yeah. And I
And
know
I
that's a name that's going to draw in people to the concerts. But
Yeah, because well, see, they're going to sell out using her as their singer instead of going, or we can really sell tickets if we could just iron out our issues, be a group of full-grown men and talk to Sebastian Bach, and hopefully he acts like a full-grown man, and we can iron out our problems. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to get Lizzie Hale to sing with us.
yeah,
Congratulations.
and he would. I
Yes,
think
well, he wants
Sebastian really wants to.
Yeah, he does. And I'm going to. Sorry, I'm going to, beat the drum for him. I was never into Skid Row, but they haven't been nothing without him. Sorry, guys. I think they hit a rock, in the '90s because all music genres took a kick because of the grunge thing. But maybe they should have. I don't know what the inner turmoil with that band is, but I think they are being children. Sometimes you got to take somebody's personality. Sebastian Bach is Sebastian Bach, whether they like it, or not. You got to be in a band with somebody, understand how they are, and just work it out. I feel this. I mean, every time I saw that pop up in my feed, Lizzie Hale, I'm going to be singing with them and I was like, well, because they suck anyway. Maybe you can help them. There, I'll be that brutal. Nobody cares about them.
That's what she's doing. She's being charitable.
Yeah.
She's going to sing a few songs that she heard her parents play.
Oh, I remember
and she's going to be like, I'm going to help these guys out. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't name you one person from Skid Row except for Sebastian Bach. Yeah. He was Skid Row.
Yeah, he was out the front. I think Eagles got their dicks kicked in. Look, Lizzie Hale and Halestorm came through Evansville. I don't know. It was a few years ago. And somebody's going, you going to Halestorm? I said, no, I don't. I don't care for their music. I've never, no. Oh, she's hot. I said, oh, I don't care. I still don't like their music. See, it's like, it's as if.
So what I suspected is true. Like most of their fans just like them because they like looking at Lizzie.
Maybe not anymore.
Yikes. I don't know.
I mean, the fact of the matter
accuse it.
The fact of the matter is, I just feel that, I feel like that I need to be in Sebastian's corner, even though I don't care about any of that band, and say, what are you guys doing? Grow up. Nobody cares about you without Sebastian. Why don't you just, take that pride, grow up, and sit down and iron it out? You're not going to. And, maybe there's demand, maybe, one rumor article or something was mentioned that, he started making demands. So what?
That happens all the time in music.
Yeah. What do you get big? What were his demands? What was there a reason, or did you just get your butt hurt and you can't sit down? It's just, I'm not under money. Music is a business. Sorry. That's what all the guys who've been in it forever, all the way to Dave Mustaine, will tell you. It's a business. And you can, work out your issues, deal with stuff or cut the losses. But you guys have been lost since who knows when, the '90s. Nobody cares about you. They got the singer from Dragon Force, who I like. I like his vocals. I stopped listening to Dragon Force when he was out because the new singer is just not good. And that didn't help you either. Because if it did, I don't know why he left. I didn't care that he left. I'm not surprised that he left. Then they got a new singer. He has health issues. I bet you that the money wasn't coming in too. Think about it. You go into a band, there's people get paid money according to, publishing rights and writers, writing stuff. So you go into a band and you're not on, you didn't write any music or anything like that. You're not going to make any money. I'm sorry, you're just not, because it gets divided. It's divided according to contracts, and it's a business. it is what it is, like it or not. So with them getting Lizzie Hale, and now she's talking about doing more shows than a couple, I'm shaking my head. I'm just like, for right now, they're just, I don't know what they're doing, and I really don't care. If so,
Yeah.
I think if they had,
Well,
if they were adults, they would work it out.
well, I know one thing. I'm not a musician. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument. But if you're a band and I want somewhere to talk and have mediators, you can come on our channel. I'll listen to you.
I'll listen to you. If you start crying, I'm gonna tell you stop crying. You and I, we work for a living. It's not fun and games. And sometimes you get your feelings hurt. Sometimes you kind of get in trouble. Sometimes when you guys are at the top of the world, and then in the music industry, it happens. You slide down. They missed their boat on making a comeback just because some of are to me those guys, they're just clowns, and I don't care if they get mad at me because I don't listen to you anyway. But you can get Sebastian Bach, who can sing. Like I said, that what was that?
Yeah,
Slave to the
I
Grind
think he
record?
is a
God,
really good singer.
yeah, he's done other things, wasn't he on Broadway? Didn't he do what is it? He did I think it was Phantom of the Opera or something. He's done stuff. But everybody else
Well,
can get along with him. But
I'll
you
tell you what
guys,
made me a fan of him. I'm a big Trailer Park Boys fan, and whenever he came on there, that really made me respect him. He was awesome on there.
I didn't know anything. Steve DiGiorgio, he was with him. He did a tour, played with him. But if you're telling me that all these people he's done bands and stuff, and he goes on these shows, you're telling me that he's such a bad guy. But the only problem is you guys. That there's a common denominator here now between you and him. When everybody else could seem to get along with Sebastian, I've seen interviews. Seems like a nice, likable, nice guy. He's funny. He's kind of loud. He's kind of.
Yeah.
But that's who he is. What do you want? Do you want him to not be that? Or you can get Lizzie Hale or whoever guys you have sing in your band because they idolized you when they were younger. Or you can get a guy that was in the band who can sing. He's got the pipes to do it, but maybe he's a little too loud for you. Does he take away from you? Do you want to make money or you just want to keep, playing in small clubs and bars? Or do you want to do huge tours? Do you want to go? Yeah, I bet you they could. I bet you they could do an arena tour.
Right. They could be a support act for Motley Crue or Def Leppard, somebody like that, easily.
Yeah. And then you start putting your name back out there and you play some of your heavier stuff. What do you? I just don't get it, and I'm not. I mean, I guess we could just tie up that subject, but
yeah, we've definitely went on for this subject too long.
Yeah, we did. It's just I get aggravated. It's just come on, guys. Now she's talking about doing more shows. Who cares? Even
what happened to Hellstorm then?
Knows.
She's going to do more shows with Skid Row. What is Hellstorm dead?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about Hellstorm.
I mean, they was dead to me when I heard them,
but yeah, they kind of cave and wet. But no, I think they're still, putting out music and they're still touring and they're still doing their thing. But I don't know. I don't care. And it's not going to, people can try to sell it. Oh, she's breathing new life. No, she's not breathing anything into Skid Row. Sebastian Bach will breathe into Skid Row. So with that being said, all the way back to the AI, there again, you can Skid Row was one of those bands that I think that the problem, they got pigeonholed. And it goes all the way to what AI is. AI is going to kill music.
Yeah.
Because
it's going to take us back to glam rock, and I don't like it.
Listen, like I've watched, one of the greatest guitar players, even though a lot of people may find him arrogant, is Yngwie Malmsteen. That guy's amazing. I don't care. People don't like him. I like him. I just like how blunt he is and how he answers questions. I like maybe people don't like him, but you ever watch him play? Man, that guy can play, man. He's good. He's good. And where did he where what is his musical influence? I can't remember the exact person. I think it's Paganini. Is that how you pronounce it? It's classical. He loves that classical stuff. A lot of the thrash guys, from our time, some of them really liked classical stuff or jazz. That's taking different influences and
Yeah.
putting
I
them
know
in your.
I'm not a musician, but even I had classical CDs.
Yeah,
I
because
had
it's fast.
Beethoven and Mozart, Chopin.
Yeah,
I
it's
like to listen to that kind of stuff.
it's fast, isn't it? Not all of it, but it's. I mean, then you got
It's
Wagner.
it. It was just interesting to me.
Yeah, well, these guys. So you're in a band and you play guitar and you're a thrash or whatever, and then you listen to that, and you want to put that in your leads maybe, or you want, you like listen to this, and you put it into your music. That's what AI will get rid of unless you ask it to do so.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it takes me back to even Glenn Danzig doing Black Orion albums.
I remember that. I liked it. I liked the first one. I never got the second one, but I had the first one on tape. I liked it. I'd listen to it all the time.
Yeah, that was so different. That was
Right.
art.
Right.
Maybe everybody didn't like it, but
Well, what I liked about when he put that out, I remember I got it on tape and it said, "This is not a rock album." Okay, it's not what if you it's and he said what that was. It is a instrument. He said he let you know what it was when you bought it. So I got it anyway and I liked it and I thought it was really good. But there again, that's some of the things he liked to do. And he only did what? Didn't he do two of those? Maybe three? I think he only did two. I don't
he
know.
did too. I never owned the second one, but I did hear it online.
Right.
But
I
I did own the first one on CD, and
Yeah.
it was very interesting.
And there you go, Danzig. He went from Misfits and he did, it's pronounced Soween or whatever. I say Sam Hain, and I'm going to continue to do it, Sam Hain. And then he did his stuff, Danzig's. I liked 1 through 4. I still have that CD you gave me, Devil Child or whatever, 666. I still have that. I listen to it every once
That's
in a
where that
while.
went.
Yeah, you gave it to me.
I
But
rebought it. I even found it on vinyl in Kentucky. I bought it.
But what did he do? His first records to me, they were the first 3 of them. My favorites, How the Gods Kill. But what is it? It's kind of like that rock, kind of that bluesy rock. It wasn't real over saturated guitar sound, and I like in different vocals. There you go. I liked it. The fourth one, he started getting into, he started doing some.
A little more like,
What is it?
I would say, like
Industrial.
industrial. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and I liked it. I,
But it
I
was
have
still
it. I
good.
liked it. Yeah, and then he did Black Acid Devil, I think, with Jerry Cantrell. Then he did the Demon Child, whatever it was called. I never listened to Black Acid Devil. I do have the one you gave me. And then the guitar player from Prong, Tommy Victor, he did a bunch of albums with Danzig. And then I think he stopped and then he reformed Prong again. But needless to say, this is why you got to keep AI out of music, because Danzig, even him, he listened to other things and he started incorporating it. But he did it because he wanted to. He didn't say, "Hey AI, I want you to, throw out some ideas," and then it writes a song for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very interesting.
Danzig,
Even his
yeah.
worst albums are just interesting to listen to.
Yeah, and he what was it? Some kind of Red Sabbath or whatever he pronounced it. I didn't hear it. When I heard of it, to me, it kind of took me back to the early days of Danzig. It was more raw. It was in a
Yeah.
studio. It wasn't Pro Tools and on a computer. And,
That album was awesome. Like I own every Danzig album except for the Black Arias. I need to find them, but
right.
like the actual Danzig albums, and that's one of Death Red Sabbath, I think it's called.
Right.
It's a great album.
Is it? Yeah. See, I think, maybe, well, here's the problem. You know, you go into a studio and you get a producer. Now you're talking about money, tons of money that is spent on the producer, spent on the mixer, you know, recording and all that stuff. And now you can just, you don't even have to be in the same city with your friend. You know, one guy's here, one guy's there, one guy's here, or you could just do it in your house. Now, Overkill, I do know that they've got a mixing board. You know, they in Jersey. You know, Dee Dee Verney, I think, owns like a home studio, and it's got all that stuff that, you know, through the years they've collected. But now people are doing it on their computer. It sounds better doing it on a mixing board, but who can afford when let's say you decided to play drums and I play guitar, we get a bass player, and then we can be in different cities and then just send, recordings back and forth. It's not the same as being in a room together, right?
Right.
And nobody's in a hurry anymore. I think that's a problem with music now too, especially Metallica. We got to wait 4 or 5 years. Nobody's in a hurry. They're not hungry anymore. That's why I think that's what's missing out of their records now.
Oh, yeah, I love that about the 80s and early 90s. Like a band would wait maximum 2-3 years to put out an album.
Yeah, it'd be every couple of years. It was a cycle, and some bands still do that cycle. You record, put it out there. You tour behind it, and then it's a cycle. You keep doing it. You keep doing it, and it also, I think, it keeps you sharp. You take other bands out on the road. It influences you. But when you're going months or like years between records, I feel that it's not. I don't know.
And you know what makes it even worse? If you wait that long and the album is very subpar.
Yeah, well, that's what is tending to happen to me for bands is,
Like,
and plus,
at least
it's also,
if they put an album out like every year or two, if they have a subpar one, you're like, well, maybe the next one will be better next year.
right. Well, you know, now it's just technology in some ways is great, and in some ways it's not great. I think the AI is not great. I understand why a lot of bands, use, that you can do everything on your computer, but I think something's missing. Um, but this is what happens with these record labels. They all got greedy. Management's got greedy. Now you don't really need, Overkill survived through the 90s. They managed themselves until they got signed to Nuclear, but who they've been with now forever. But before, they were just managing themselves. You slugging it out because record labels are greedy. Management, I mean, I understand a record label gives you money, you go out on a tour, and you owe that record label every bit of dollar they've given you to put your record out, and you owe the record label for the money they front you to tour. You owe that record label, and then you got management. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
it's a tricky thing. So the bad thing was they were greedy, but the good thing was also you would get bands that get out there, they tour, they were, it separated people. But now everybody has a record. Everybody can put a record out. And
Yeah. I think I'm putting out a record probably by mid July.
have AI write it for you.
Right. I'm gonna do it right here on my computer and I'll make about $50 from it, but it'll be fun.
Boss makes a pedal, and it's the size of a Boss guitar pedal, okay? And you could plug in your guitar into it. It's even got an effects loop in it, and you can set it to where it'll sound like this amp with this cabinet. Like, let's just say a Mesa Boogie amp with a Marshall cabinet. And then it's also got a loop in it. You could plug this thing directly into your laptop. I can plug it directly into my interface. I can plug my guitar in without an amp, without a pedal, without a cabinet. I can plug that directly in to my interface. I can plug my guitar into this interface, but that is where technology is, where you can fit that type of stuff into a guitar pedal. It's called the Boss something. I don't know. So now you're getting, I mean, I don't know. it's technology is good, but technology also is a kick in the teeth. You have your purists like you. My friend and I call them a toaster. It's an amps. It's an amp the size of it's like a size of a box. It's not huge. It's all there's no. It's called they're called Axe Effects. There's another one that is real popular, and you don't need to have Metallica uses them, but they use rack-mounted versions of it. But you don't have to bring a bunch of amps on tour or go rent them when you go overseas. You can just bring this over. It's small. It's technology. But then you got purists like I think Dave. I also think Kerry King. He is a Marshall guy. But then when I don't know if Kerry let Gary when he was touring with Slayer, but he uses what I'm talking about in Exodus because it's cheaper. Instead of renting a back line, all you got to do is bring this little thing you could throw in a bag, and there. You are. There's your setup. You just plug it in.
Well, that's education. I don't know about that. I'm
But
not a musician, as I've brought up.
Because I would love to play a Mesa Boogie amp. They're expensive, so I play a Randall Solid State because that's all I can afford. But technology is it's coming a long way, but it's like a double-edged sword. It's good for some things, but it stifles others. So
I think it's horrible because once again, I think people are generic these days, and they don't give a crap about generic music.
Well, that's true, but people, it's like people don't know any better. I don't know. I listened to a band. I never got into bands that only had one or two good songs. I have to like the whole thing. That's why I stopped listening to Metallica. I just, I want to hear a full record of stuff.
I just listen to the classic albums.
Well, yeah, most people do. They're kidding themselves too, but they've got Metallica has their fans, and they put on a show. People love the show, but they're not on stage for 3 hours anymore.
No, I did see them last year in St. Louis, and they still put on a good show. So I'm not gonna talk crap about their shows. It was awesome.
And see, that's what it is. I remember when Pearl Jam started crying about ticket prices. It's like, well, you can cry about the ticket price, okay, or you can just put on a show to make people go, God, man, that's a real expensive ticket. But people go see Metallica. Why? Because they put on a show.
It's like,
yeah, exactly. You are going, that's what people need to do. You need to put on a show. You don't have to have Dungeons and Dragons and stuff in the background, but you need to move around, interact with the crowd, make it worth their money, make it worth their dollar that they came and saw you. Put the energy on the stage. That's what I feel. I mean, we can they can argue with people about being, screwed by ticket prices. Look at Taylor Swift. I can't stand that woman, but she, you pay an arm and a leg to go see her show, but guess what? She puts on a show, doesn't she? She's paying dancers.
I guess she does.
I mean, she is. She's got to be.
I'm never going to badmouth her because she's very successful.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. She re-recorded all the music. She's smart. She did. Did you know that she re-recorded?
Oh yeah, because the record company screwed her over or something.
Yeah.
So she said, "I'm gonna redo it."
Yeah, that's what And there was a thing with Ozzy. I think I don't know when it happened, but I guess he re-recorded all of his stuff. And Rob actually was the bass player on that stuff. So what does it do? It's you redo it all, and then you don't have to pay. You own everything. You pay your musicians. It's there again. It's a business. Music is a business. I'm not going to go down this, the Skid Row thing, but grow up, ladies. It's a business. You're gonna, if you want to make money, be adults and iron it out, right? And just like with AI, be creative. Take the time. Take the time. You get stuck on something, walk away, and then come back. Don't be lazy and type in AI. Oh, look, and it comes up with it for you. That's lazy.
Yeah, just go with your heart, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least it was with your heart and soul.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. I have ideas for movies. I mean, I wish we could get big enough and do a movie. I have tons of ideas for movies because I don't need AI. I just use my imagination. It's things I'm not seeing. Do you know that's how Typo Negative started? Typo Negative started because Peter, he wasn't hearing what he wanted to hear. So he made, Typo Negative was born. And you see, that's, I'm tired of seeing in movies remakes, reimagining, different agendas. I have a bunch of ideas for movies that would be good. That could be an independent small film. Doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar budget. A lot of times this what sells and what makes a movie really good. Look at Halloween. I just do not. That was is not to me is not one of the greatest movies ever. What makes me I can
No,
watch it over and over again is the acting. The people in it. Jamie Lee Curtis, the doctor running around. Look
Donald
at
Pleasance.
yeah, look at the first Friday the 13th. To me, that was kind of more of like instead of a slasher, that was to me was more of trying to figure out who's doing the killing. Right? That to me it was because Jason wasn't in. Was it Jason? Yeah,
Mike
Jason wasn't in it.
Myers.
I could. Is it Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th? No,
Oh,
it's Jason
you were
Voorhees.
talking about Halloween.
Well, I went into. I meant the first Friday the 13th. To me,
Oh yeah.
that that is like it's a movie that you're trying to figure out who's doing it. At the end of the day, it was the mom, right? And then they threw that part in it, at the very end of that movie. That was introduced because of the ending of Carrie. That's where they got that idea from. Was Carrie?
Oh, when she
Um.
comes out of the grave.
Oh, and when we're off of here, I'm gonna tell you my idea for a remake for Friday the 13th. Because every time they do a remake, it's just garbage, right? I came up with one that would actually work. Just like Phantasm. It wouldn't be a remake, it would just be a continuation, but it'd be my idea.
Let's not
By
talk
my,
about Phantasm. I hate the way that series was ruined.
yeah, I mean, if I told you my idea for Phantasm, you would like it because you need, what are the things you need? Those two beams where people go in and out, for the whatever, what is it, the grave world or whatever, the dimension. You need those two things. You need the ball, and you need the tall man. Now, the guy I wanted to do the tall man, I don't even. His name is Tom Noonan. He was in. Uh, I don't know. Have you ever seen Heat with Al Pacino? He was the guy in the wheelchair. Have you ever seen Tom Noonan was in the second RoboCop as the main bad guy. He was in Manhunter as the main bad guy. Tom Noonan would be the guy I would have play the tall man. And then that's all I'm going to say. But I came up with an idea, and you don't turn it into a cheeseball movie. You turn it into something that would really work. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It's not. I wouldn't talk about it. Did you just send me something?
I did.
Okay. Um.
All fair stuff.
Okay. And then if I
But go
told you
ahead and
what it,
read it.
huh?
Go ahead and read it, but it's not for on air.
Oh, I'll read it after. But anyway, Alien. I came up with something that would be different, and I already told you that idea. But I also have my own ideas of things that would be I would like to see that isn't being done. You know, and I don't need it. I don't need AI to do so. I would need a real writer that could write dialogue because that's not me. I can't do that. I know what I want to see. You know, but
Right.
no AI. If you find people. that can write scripts or that can write music and lyrics and stay away from the AI. You don't need it. That's all I've got to say about it. You
Don't
know,
even find, you don't even have to find the biggest name people. Just, you can find people online to help you out that know like one certain thing, and they may know somebody that knows another certain thing, and
yeah.
like-minded people just make something great.
Look at the guy who directed Ridley Scott is my favorite director. Okay, and he was noticed because he put out an independent movie called The Duelists. And I guess the look of the film, the direction of the film, it just, they hired him. He read the script to Alien. He liked it. He did a board. He did, he drew up the movie the way he saw it. They got, H.R. Giger. I'm making this short because it's a whole story. And then they directed Alien. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. The only issue I have with Ridley Scott is that man cuts things out of movies that should never be cut out. That's how we got the disaster that is the franchise, because he took things out of it. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm sure the studios had a lot to do with that.
Oh no, he's the one who cut it to shorten it. I've heard there was a version
It,
of that movie that's like 3 hours long.
it wasn't even the studios.
No, he cut it
That's
out.
messed up.
Yeah, there's because have you seen the first Alien when they put some of the stuff back into it? He cut it out because when the whole segment when she goes into the room, and she sees them cocoon. You want to know why he cut that out? He cut it out because he said it took away from the pace of the movie. It's like, what are you talking about? If I would have seen that the first time, I'd have said, what are you doing? Because at that time, that's when the alien was running around the ship. I would have been petrified that thing's going to come out and get her. Right? That's how you create tension. I think he should have never cut that out of the movie. There's things he cut out of Alien Covenant that he shouldn't have. There should have been a whole segment about what happened to Shaw. He cut it out. What are you doing? Because now you don't have a third one. Right? The first one, there's things they cut out of the Prometheus. You couldn't even get past it. I mean, I think it was a beautiful looking film. It's amazing. He just does amazing work. But the only issue I have with Ridley Scott is he always cuts things out that don't need to be cut out. He should have left all that stuff in that he reintroduced when they reintroduced the movie. He should have left it all in there because we wouldn't have had the debacles that we've had 2, 3, and 4. Hell, they should have killed her off. He was originally going to kill off Ripley. They should have. Or at least made more sense with the second one while she was going on back out there. They should have just ran into her ship. The Marine should have ran into her on the way out there. You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't have even started off with Ripley. Should have started off with the Marines going out to that site. She wakes up in the middle of everything going sideways. And then they should have killed her off because they kept making the movie about her, and that was a disaster. But there again, I'm not going down that road either. But no AI, no more AI.
No. And I think that's a good stopping point for today.
Yeah, because I'm just a mouth, and I'll keep talking and talking and talking. So I'm done. You're done. That's it.
Yep. I'm going to start working on my AI album, and I'll release it Tuesday.
I mean, I'm not like, I'm not, the biggest shredder. I could play, I play around, I'll plug in my guitar and come up with stuff. It's just easy to come up with stuff. You just take what you like and listen to. And when you especially Jeff Loomis is one of my favorite guitar players, and he said don't listen to just one type of music, and he's absolutely correct. I listen to different stuff, believe it or not. I love Boston. I love Black Sabbath. I love some 80s song music, from the 80s. My favorite Phil Collins song is Take Me Home. Not the one everybody talks about, but Take Me Home. I like some speed metal stuff, I like different stuff, and I think that's what people need to do instead of having AI. So with that being said, I'm done. Let's cut this.
I'm out too.
Later.
We'll talk to y'all Tuesday.